y'all, this is Chrissy T. I'm back with the recap of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Season 11, Episode 23. So, Jock and Kendra, they discussing Gloria. Kendra makes it clear she's not meeting Gloria. She doesn't want to. And she insists that Jock should be the liaison. And she said that Jock and Gloria should be able to communicate without mentioning her name. But the bottom line is Gloria still wants to meet Kendra. If she does not meet Kendra, then Gloria is not going to allow her daughter to go back to Jock's house. So he more than likely will have to go visit his daughter at Gloria's house. And then Kendra would be really salty. So pick your battles wisely. Do you want to meet Gloria this one time? Okay, or do you want for Jock to have to go to Gloria's house to see his daughter and spend weekends and holidays over there? And I noticed that she refers to Yandy as the child. And I know it sounds like some underlying bitterness because you can't say Jock's daughter. Why do you have to refer to this baby as the child? Call her by her name. So yeah, I do think it's some bitterness there. And I think that seeing the child or hearing the child's name may trigger thoughts of Jock cheating on her and having a baby outside their marriage or relationship. I don't think they was married then. But anyway, Kendra tells Jock that she was invited to Saucy's birthday party. Jock said, okay, you can go, but I'm going to sit this one out. So Jock decides not to go because he made some comments about performing in front of the LGBT. And he said that he would feel uncomfortable because he doesn't want men looking at him with lust in their eyes. That's definitely a stereotype to assume that gay men automatically have thoughts and desires of sleeping with you. Like, what? I get him being uncomfortable, but the reason behind it, that's definitely a stereotype. So Spice throws a tea party and, where everyone spills their own tea. Sierra went first saying she got a new man. Rennie is in a new relationship. And I think Spice did that in order to break the ice because she's then shares some bad news. She reveals that her organs are failing. Not organ, but organs are failing. Multiple organs. And she says she was in the hospital a day prior for organ failure, and she was given 16 bottles of blood. First of all, who discharged her? Because if you were given 16 vials of blood, you should still be in the hospital. Who discharged her? And she has multiple organs that are failing. So each organ counts on the other to keep the body functioning. So if one organ is failing, time is sensitive. Okay, we need to get you healthy. Who discharged this woman? One organ alone is fatal. Can you imagine multiple organs failing? If I have multiple organs failing, I'm not leaving the damn hospital. Okay, discharged or not, God damn it, they're gonna have to call the police to get me out of there. And I seriously hope it's not a major organ because that can be fatal. And I think she should take time away from the show and spend time with your family. Get healthy. So despite her having multiple organs failing, she said she is having a celebration of life party, giving thanks to God because life is short and tomorrow isn't promised. Yandy asked her if she inviting Carley. You know what? I'm sick of them trying to play the peacemaker when she's not even in good terms with these people. Yandy's trying to play the peacemaker, yet her and her mother-in-law are not even on good terms. Spice may have forgiven Carley, but that doesn't mean Carley has to be in her space. If she wants Carley there, she would invite her. Leave these people alone. Meanwhile, Saucy, Chaotic, and Jessica White, they're chilling at a lounge. So Saucy wanted to meet up with Jessica because the last time they met, it was in her studio session. And things were a little awkward because Saucy was under the impression that he was going into the studio session and chill with Zell. And he was kind of taken by surprise when Jessica White approached him and asked him to be a feature on her song. And At that time, he didn't even know she was an artist. So while she's asking him to be a feature on the song, Saucy is trying to put it off on Zell. He said, well, why don't you do it, Zell? So instead of, him being professional and saying no, he did try to push it off on Zell. So Jessica did apologize and acknowledge that she may have put Saucy in an awkward position. And I get where he was coming from. He said that he wanted to get to know her musically before being rushed into a feature. Then they discussed the comments Jock made about performing in front of gay people. I personally still think it was a stereotype, because what makes Jock think that gay men will automatically find him attractive? I don't know. So Saucy said Jock is just worried because he's only worried as to what the hood would think of him performing in front of gay people. He said there's a lot of straight men that think that in the industry. And I get it. Jock does have a right to feel uncomfortable because it's not the norm for him. It's not normal for him to perform in front of an all gay crowd. He's never done it before. So I get him being uncomfortable. But to assume and then flatter himself and think that these men are going to be looking at him with lust in their eyes, please. So now we get to Jock's birthday party. Carly arrives, and Sierra and Rennie, they waste no time. They rush to her and tell her that she needs to make up with Spice because Spice is dealing with some major health problems. Carly said that she misses Spice and she wants to be her friend, but she's not going to beg her for friendship. Carly does agree to sit down with Spice, but says she won't be doing any talking. And she was factual. When she said she won't be doing any talking, she was right. So here they are again, trying to force two people to make up who are not ready. Like, I don't understand why it's hard for them to understand that sometimes friendships run its course. They can forgive each other, but it does not mean they have to remain friends. Spice saying she wasn't ready. Carly saying she wasn't ready. But here they are continuing to pressure them. So we'll see how this turns out when Spice and Carly finally meet. Jock shows up at Saucy's party, and he shows him and Kendra, and they show their respect and greet, Saucy and Zell. So Zell decides to ask Jock about the comments he made, and Saucy chimes in and tells Jock that he has a false perception of what gay is supposed to be. He said being gay basically is not a one-size-fits-all. All gays don't look alike. All gays don't dress the same. Some are hood, some are feminine, some are both. In Saucy's case, he's both. He dresses like a woman sometimes, but he throws hands like a man. So Jock says that he respects the gay community, but he's just not comfortable performing at an all-gay club. And it is what it is. So Saucy says that he does understand that Jock is uncomfortable with something that's unfamiliar. Meanwhile, Sierra, being messy and nosy, all in the business, stirring the pot, she says to Zell that she's sensing that his energy is off, and she thought there may be trouble in paradise between Saucy and Zell. So Saucy says, yeah, there's tension between them because Zell went out of town and he didn't answer his phone calls. So he said Zell was Snapchatting, but wouldn't answer his calls or text messages. And he said that Zell lied about, going to an after hours party instead of being honest with Saucy. So Zell acknowledged that, yes, he did lie, but he only lied because he knows that Saucy isn't very accepting of his friends. But Saucy said he didn't believe that either. He said, okay, you said you went to her after parties, but I believe that you was laid up with some bitch. So they going back and forth. Sierra, they were fine before you walked over and stirred up this drama. Mind your business. Everything was fine until she walked up and started being nosy. Talking about she's sensing something. Sense when to mind your own business. Meanwhile, Yandy has decided to drag Mendices to a pumpkin patch to meet up with Brat and Judy to discuss the IVF process that was already discussed with a medical professional. So she still wants Mendices to get on board. So what exactly are they going to say that hasn't already been said? So she tells Brat and Judy that she has decided to donate her egg. And Brett tells her straight up, just like it is, if it's your egg, then it's your baby. And Mendices is the father. And she told Mendices, don't let Yandy give up her egg. Some people say she overstepped her boundaries. I don't think so. Yandy asked for her input and she gave it to her. So Judy explains to Yandy the process to prepare your body for the removal of the egg. She said it was very painful. She got really sick. She had to go to the hospital. And Yandy was, the look on her face, it was giving scared. But Yandy should have considered all this. She should have asked all the questions before she decided to go in head first and promise her cousin that she was going to give her an egg. She had no clue as of how this would affect her body, how it would affect work, who's going to take care of the other kids. She didn't ask none of these questions. She promised her cousin an egg without even consulting with her husband first. But Yandy is going to do what Yandy wants to do. I already know she's going to donate that egg. So I know, because she does what she wants. She don't give a damn what Mendici says. She's also funding the procedure. She didn't even tell Mendices. She didn't tell Mendices until he asked who's paying for it. And she said, well, us. This is how she rolled. She makes decisions, then asks for permission. Meanwhile, Karlie Redd and Spice, they meet up for a one-on-one. Spice has a 6-page letter she gives Carley explaining to Carley how she's betrayed her and she felt used by her. Now, throughout Love and Hip Hop, Carley has exhibited some questionable behavior. She submitted a song that she and Spice did together. She submitted it to the Grammys and told everybody except Spice. She also went on bragging about spending $35,000 for Spice's birthday. And then what really set Spice off was the fact that Carley purchased a house next door to Spice a year after she asked her not to. And Carley used a NDA to hide the fact that she purchased the house. So one day, out of the blue, Carley decides to pop up at Spice's house. Spice gets a knock on the door. She's thinking it's the post office. And to her surprise, it is Carley accompanied by her pregnant daughter. And the look on Spice's face was, honey, she was pissed. And she felt like Carley invaded her privacy. And to the average person, this is not a big deal. But to Spice, who has trust issues and she's very hypersensitive to sneakiness and lies, this was a big deal to her. Fast forward today, Spice is mad that Carley is going behind her back, telling people she's afraid of her and making it seem like she's a bad person. And Carley has every right to be afraid because Spice did physically attack her in Jamaica. And Spice could be so pleasant at 7:58. 7:58 in 10 seconds. She can go from 10 to 100. She can go in a fit of rage in a matter of seconds. So I can see why Carley would be, afraid or hesitant to go around her. So Spice also accuses Carley of trying to access her medical records. So Carley is trying to respond to these accusations and Spice won't let her get a word in. She can't say nothing. Mind you, she wrote a 6-page letter. Now Carley sat there patiently reading that 6-page letter and now it's time for her to respond and she can't. Everything you needed to say was in that damn letter. Now shut up and listen. See, Spice thinks she can have a conversation and she do all the talking. Now, if she wanted to continue to do all the talking, maybe she should have wrote another 6-page letter. But Spice goes on to say that she would never intentionally hurt Carley. And Carley managed to get a word in this time. Carley said, "You wouldn't hurt me. Well, you threatened to bust my head." Honey, that set Spice off. She said she's Jamaican. That's how they talk. She spends another 5 minutes saying Carley is making her look bad over and over and over. She keeps saying the same thing. Nothing was resolved. Okay. Spice ends up walking away. Had Spice shut her mouth and listened, maybe there could have been some resolved, not necessarily them becoming friends, but them being friendly towards each other and cordial. But Spice, you acted like a toddler having a tantrum. You didn't listen. The conversation was strictly about you. And then she kept saying Carly's trying to make her look bad, but I believe that's how she see herself. That's her own reflection. There is definitely something going on with Spice. I think it's time for some more healing. I know it's not going to happen overnight, but there's definitely something deeper that's going on. That is the end of this episode. If you guys haven't subscribed, do so. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Bye.